Thank you so much for your time, just to get your thoughts firstly on your team's performance this evening.
Firstly, congratulations to Warrington. Again, you play these sort of teams and you do learn some valuable lessons out of it. I thought we started brightly. I thought we started full of energy. And then Warrington showed a bit of their class. I thought the Rooks started getting a little bit too quick, and they fully capitalised on that. Got a few penalties, and we started defending a few back-to-back sets. And you give the team with as much quality as Warrington too many sets on you, or too much possession, and they're going to turn it into points, aren't they? And they definitely did that. In saying that, we spoke at half time that if we tidied those Rooks up, we were full of confidence that we could fully take his chances. And I think I think the story of that second half is probably execution and composure. I thought we had enough chances. I thought we created 2 or 3, just like Warrington did. The difference is, why we are where we're at in the league and Warrington are where they're at, is they took their chances and we didn't. And that's that next level that we talk about that we need to get to. We can't keep on saying, the effort's good, the guts are great. We've also got to have that quality about us too. So, full credit to Warrington. They're a great outfit with some great players and some great youth. And we'll dust itself off. It's a tough one to take in terms of. I didn't think we executed as best in that second half, but I think you've also got to give credit to his opposition for how well they did execute in terms of when they had the chances, but also how hard they scrambled in defence as well.
You mentioned about the tries in the first half, some nice play. Cody Hunter was really good with the boot tonight, wasn't he? What pleased you about the way that you got those 2 tries?
Yeah, we spoke about, I don't think we've been nailing as transitions that well, if I'm honest with you, over the last 2-3 weeks. I don't think as kicking game and then as transitions has been favouring how we like to play, and I thought Cody nailed it today, and then I thought he nailed his short kicking game when we were attacking. I don't think it was particularly the kicks that they were issue. It was just them first 2 or 3 Rooks after it were really a little bit too quick, so we just got to invest a little bit more energy and a little bit more smarts in terms of his Rook control there. But listen, there were loads to like about it too. But we've got to move on now, haven't we, from loads to like to turning them sort of performances with a lot of guts and a lot of effort into wins as well.
It doesn't feel like it's too far away. It feels like it's more tweaks in lots of ways to get York to where you want to be, do you think?
I think we've got, if you were baking a cake, I think we've got the main ingredients right. We're just going to get the sprinkling and the icing on the top, haven't we? So I don't think we're a million miles off in terms of that, but when you're talking, I suppose, elite sport and at this level, that's the difference, isn't it, between ultimately being a playoff team and not being a playoff team. And then if you boil it down again, the difference will be the team that wins it. Compared to the playoff teams, is they take it up another notch. So yes, it might not look like too far, on the eye, but it's them sort of percentages that you chase after and make sure that you nail as many times as you can.
How big a difference was top play for Warrington tonight in terms of what you were looking to do with York? I
think we were looking at their squad throughout the week, and I think you've got to give massive credit to Sammy as well, that he's blooding some of the youth that they've got. You look at Irwin, I thought he was great again. I thought bringing England captain back in George, obviously took call on Leon is. And you could go through the pack, Kalepi not playing, not a bad luxury to have, is it? But I won't single out one particular player. I thought Walker causes all sorts of issues when he got in behind the ruck, quality player. I thought George getting in behind that ruck when he got quick off the back of him, again causes headaches, and Matty Aston. You can't give them sort of players that sort of time and space. And as I say, we'll take a lot from that, and it's just frustrating for us now. That's Lee. And now Warrington, where we're putting in some massive efforts and we're probably not getting as reward. And the challenge now is to keep them massive efforts and then turn that last part into a bit of quality and execution to turn into points.
Cody Hunter intercept try that nearly was. Your take on that?
I, for love nor money, cannot work out why he did not just let Cody score the try similar to when Irwin did, and then go back on the replay and see why not. But listen, it's all this and buts, isn't it? I just thought it was a strange call, that one. But it is what it is, you know. Some weeks you get them, other weeks you don't. I don't think that was the defining moment in the game. It definitely added a bit of spice to it, but I definitely don't think we can blame anyone but ourselves for why we didn't win tonight.
You had a concussion interchange with Inman's. He okay? No, he did come back on.
Oh, he was Varney. So Varney came off with an HIA. Then we had to put him on with about 30 seconds after that first half. And he still looks a little bit queasy. So he passed his head test, but you know, he's a pretty honest guy, as Paul. You know, when he's not fully there. So we wanted to do the right thing first and foremost by the player. So you know, we subbed someone else back on. So yeah, hopefully I think he'll be okay, but we'll do follow correct protocol, and you know, luckily for us we've got a prolonged period now where we can probably give him a day or two rest to get ready.
Has everybody else come through okay tonight?
As far as I know, I've come straight out of a team talk up here, but as far as I know, I don't think we're carrying any more bumps. You know, Warrington physical team. There were some big hits off both teams going in, wasn't there? So I'm sure there's a few sore bodies, but nothing that a nice weekend with the families can't sort out.
And just like this, no Scott Galliano tonight, we know about his groin injury. Have you had results to scan yet?
Yeah, positive news. Scott will be back in contention for Leeds. Bish will be back in contention for Leeds. So there's a few troops around the corner in that sense, but I think they're the only two that are of concern at the moment. But they both should be back for Leeds. I think, as I said, I don't think it's an injury thing or anything like that with us. We've got a fully fit squad for this stage of the year. You know, barring one or two, I think it's just chasing that execution and composure in certain parts of the game.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark,
Yes.
Can you talk about the process and the progress around Cody Hunter? Obviously, he came over initially with Newcastle, played 10, 11 games in the Championship, and then he's come into here. He seems to be getting better every week and looks like a really promising high-level Super League player. How does he get identified at first? Is that something that you were involved with? Can you just talk?
Yeah, so obviously we have scouting teams throughout you know, the world where rugby league's played, and they're constantly sending names in. Clint had obviously been tipped up about Cody, then showed me I suppose his highlights. You then get your scouting team on and break his game down and watch, you know, in between 5, 10, 15 games depending on how deep you go in. Cody showed a lot of traits that we thought would transfer well into Super League. You know, he's still relatively young, got his best years in front of him, and when he did come over for Newcastle, we knew he'd take a bit of time to adjust to England, as a lot of players do. You know, physically we needed to develop him as well. He worked really hard on that, and we put on quite a lot of lean tissue with him. And one thing that I love about Cody is he's got an instinct to get to that try line, and he's got a lovely short kicking game, as you probably saw tonight. So yeah, it's just a case of looking at what traits you see in a player, you know, identifying whether that's something you need in your team, and then first and foremost you chat with the player and make sure that they're a good fit for you and the club, and you know what values you are, and he fit all the boxes, ticked them all, and he's fully took his chance, hasn't he?
Is it an interesting dynamic for you where you have a squad and then obviously you've got almost like an extra squad to look at? Because I guess at the start of the year, if I'd have asked you, you might not have said, Cody, you know, if I asked you after 20 rounds would Cody's going to be your 7, you might not have said Is that an
kept quiet so that no one could get it. Yeah, listen, it's been a different sort of dynamic there. You know, I think we got 4 weeks notice that we were coming up to league before actual pre-season started. And then we also got it dropped on that we partnered with Newcastle, and we had obviously these extra players. So it's been fun, challenging, you know, for different reasons. But also, you know, I think long term you'll get some benefit out of it. You know, we've obviously seen some benefit this year with Cody. You know, so there's been some real good strengths about it. There's also been some limitations to it, some stuff we need to tidy up and be better at. But I think long term, you know, until we get a youth system set up, you know, it's probably a good model for us.
And it goes without saying, I guess, another game tonight where you've shown how competitive you can be with all the NRL talk. It goes without saying that York should be in Super League next season?
I think so, but that's why I'm going to say that. But I think you know, you look at if you take even, you know, you can see what we're doing this year. I think we're, as you say, competitive, but don't just want to be competitive in terms of valiant losers. We want to, you know, make us mark. But I think, you know, if I said to the majority of people in England, what's one city that you'd like to visit for a weekend, you know, whether it's with your family, by yourself, with your missus, whatever, I don't think York's going to be too far off anyone's bucket list, is it? 'Cause it's got a bit of everything for everyone. So, yeah, I think we're an attractive package there. I think it'll definitely put bums on seats long term. You know, the York public are fully behind us. I think more that we market itself, the city gets to know us at top level. I think we're their only top level sporting team in the city. Obviously, we've got strong connections with the football, both play at the same stadium, and it's a big enough city to cater for both. And I think if we kind of grow that sporting presence in York, you know, the crowds will carry on growing. I think we'll have a really good home fan base, and we'll also have a really good away day for Super League.